Good morning all, hope you're doing okay. We can see that things are chopping a hell of a lot, and what we want to see on the sentiment SSI 21 moving average, we want to see like waves, nice moves, up and down, up and down. So it's like it's easy to trade when it does that, but when we're going like this, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, it's very, very hard to trade. It's very, very difficult if you're looking at things from a sentimental view. Now currently they've gone long, so this box, I think it's here, isn't it? It might be this one actually. Let's get rid of that box for a second. Chart elements, remove. It's difficult to draw because sometimes the crossover happened over 2 hours. It's this one, isn't it? It's not that one. So they went long here, so they got punished. So that's that. Okay, and you can see how we've got like a supply that we've created, and now what's happened is that they shorted it here ish, and so we're basically in between a rock and a hard place where this is a resistance zone, and we created a support zone at the same place within that handle, that hourly candle. So there's your levels: 3914 for a long, and 3886 can hold because they've shorted it, right? So we're going to be in a considerable chop, and we might see a violent move each side. So we've got a box within a box, so that's very, very tricky. So you want to be looking for a long above or a short below. Probably even better to look for a short down here, but they have sold it, so this should be a decent support. This obviously the next 12 minutes will be key, where we finish on the hour. They might just pump it at the 10 o'clock, and then we'll be within that box again, and they might pump it even more. Depends what happens here. They might sell it. They might well sell it. You just don't know. You'd think they'd sell it. You know, it's looking quite ugly, and all this bearish macro narrative is it's quite scary. So they sold it. So this is like a support box. So this is currently holding. So I expect some wick below, and then 31888 above. Okay. So basically S&P is going to be quite tricky. US 30 might be a bit clearer for a long if we break above 31888. DAX. Now let's see. They've gone long. Okay, so we should be falling, and we did fall. They've gone. They shorted it, and then they've gone long. So this is currently a resistance. Yeah, we've got a resistance within a resistance. So this is a bearish box and another bearish box, right? So this probably should be seeing price below 14,706. If by some miracle they sell it, then we'll come up 15,022, but we've got some formidable resistance overhead. Okay, so a resistance within a resistance, so that's very unusual to see that. So they've gone long and they've gone long, so it's a sell, sell. Okay, so it's two back-to-back sells, and now if we think about what happened to gold, we made back-to-back buys, buy, buy, boom. So theoretically the same could happen to DAX, but that way, come down. So we've got a sell, sell, boom. On gold we had a buy, buy, boom. In fact, we even had a buy as well. We had three. 1, 2, 3. And even a fourth there. We might even get a fifth. Alright. So that's gold. So what happened yesterday is I thought this was going to be a flag pattern, and I said to look for support 1890. We did go a little bit below, so I wasn't 100% accurate on that, but we did find some support on the lower parallel, and we pumped. Now I thought we might come down to retest the upper parallel, but we didn't, so that's fine. We could still, that's going to be a scary move if we do, but then it'll be like buy the dip off the upper parallel. Alright, so that was a good spot, I think. I'm not like trying to be arrogant or anything like that. I just spotted a potential flag pattern form. We were here, I said potentially there. I said 1890 for a long. So we did come down a little bit below, but we certainly did pump. Now the bias for a long is based on this. Okay, so you're looking for buys when we're green on the sentiment. It's quite straightforward. Oh, big move, euro. Right, so we got a buy, but because we've got ACB, you should probably just be really, really careful. There's the sell. We can mark that up actually. We can always return to these boxes, can't we? Here. Wow, yeah, they went long up here. I was saying yesterday it made a risky sell on the Discord. Look what happened. So that was absolutely spot on. So it goes to show how amazing this is. Remember to check the Discord as well. Lots of things do go out, but I was saying this is a risky sell. Now dollar yen also made a risky sell, but we'll have to have a look at that. And also we can draw another box because we've got a crossover here. And this is a support box. So where are we? Here. You can see we dipped into it. So it doesn't allow. Oops, let's cancel that. So they've shorted it here, went up, got to their break even, didn't allow them to profit, and up we come. So that's a great test of the zone. So if you were, I was going to say if you were crazy, but not necessarily crazy. If you fancied a gamble, you could look for a long because we've got support here, and we can see a test of that support. And the logic there was based on that zone that they sold it, so therefore it's created a support. It's a sentimental support. So if you were brave or not necessarily crazy, 105.90 can hold, but I think it'd be too much of a gamble. Especially we've got ECB, we've got all that stuff going on in the world as well. All those bank crises, we're going to probably spread some fear from the Credit Suisse. It might gravitate over into Europe, which is not impossible. And if so, then the euro is going to suffer. So what a move. That was a good call. Whether or not this is going to be a good call, we'll have to wait and see till tomorrow. Dollar yen. So they've gone long. So there's the sell. We can map that. So that was okay. Yeah. Yeah, here, isn't it? There you go. So that's currently a resistance zone. And do know that the US yields have fallen quite substantially, because if they fall, it's going to drag dollar yen down with it, especially the 10-year yield as well, because they correlate incredibly well. So if the 10-year falls, it's going to bring this down. If this comes down, then cross yen can come down too, because of its connection to the yields. And that's it. So we've got a little bit of sideways chop. So we've got arrows there next to each other. So you've got to be careful here. But currently we've got resistance zone 134. Yeah, we just call it 134. So if you were looking for a trade, that could be a stop, but it's difficult, isn't it? It could pump and it could get you stopped out. But looking at things, from a sentimental perspective, this is a decent resistance because they've gone long and they shouldn't be getting paid. And it's clearly they didn't. They got punished. So Patreon video now, and I'm off all day today, and I'll be back tomorrow.